I am Lucy Quist, the author of The Bold New Normal. I'm a Christian woman who believes that we have each been given talents, God-given talents, that we can use to create outcomes of what we want in our lifetimes and in our communities and countries. I'm a mother, I'm a wife. My life's passion and goal is to see the realization and actualization of the bold new normal, because I believe that the transformation of our communities, where we have taken bold actions to create that transformation, is possible. So let's do this together. The bold new normal. Creating the Africa where everyone prospers. Sometimes I actually wonder how this book came about, by the way, because I realized that it's a collection of several experiences and perspectives that then informed how I see the world and view the world and interact with people. So I really genuinely feel that I have sort of availed myself as a vessel to bring these thoughts together. Many of them are thoughts that many people think in different ways, different pockets. Knowing what it really means to live on this continent and just hope and wish for something different, something better. You're trying hard. So that's the birth of the bold new normal. And it's really my ode to all of us to say we have what it takes to create what we want. The bold new normal is targeted really at everyone. The heart of my target audience is young people because, you know, I remember being much younger, and I still feel very young, by the way, and having hopes and dreams and aspirations, but also the energy to do things, the energy to make things happen. So I remember that, and so my core target is young people, because young people are at a stage in their lives where they're really trying to figure out what they're going to do with their lives. But equally, the book applies to other people. You know, it applies to the mom at home raising her child and being able to craft and mold a mindset for her child that is about thriving and realizing their potential. The Bold New Normal is my first book, and I'm really grateful for the break I had that gave me the opportunity and the bandwidth to really pull all of those thoughts together into the format of a book. I could spend all day telling you about speaking things into existence, both good and bad. What we speak, we give life to. And when we give life to things, they come about. They come about because all our energies, all our focus, and everything around us is focused on that word that we have given life to. If we want to see prosperity, but always say that as for us, we will always be poor. If we want to self-actualize and own our own destinies, but always say, oh, as for and the African or the black person, someone else has to be in charge of them. If we want our children to do well in school, but also always tell them how silly they are, you know, we can't say the opposite of what we want to happen, because what we say is what actually happens. It's not just what we think. As for me and my household, my family, my community, my country, we must speak positive things about what we want to see and use that positivity to challenge and push back on negative perceptions. The Bold New Normal is really about us, particularly us Africans and Ghanaians and you know, people like me, taking the responsibility to create a different outcome, a different future from the present that we live. We want different, but we have to create it. So new normal is about challenging the norms that we live and creating new norms. And it's not about incremental changes. It's not about a little bit different. It's really about boldly declaring and acting on creating completely different outcomes. Is the bold new normal possible in reality? You know, I always remind people that everything we see around us started off by in someone's mind. It was an imagination, it was an idea, it was a thought that the person then actually took action with some other people a lot of the time to create it. So think about it. What happened when the world didn't have any roads? What happened when we didn't have schools, when we didn't have hospitals? These are all things people visualized. and decided that they wanted to create. And so the bold new normal is possible because our minds have a vast expanse of ideas and possibilities that we think of. In fact, particularly in Africa, we talk about these ideas a lot. We talk about what we want to see different, how we want to have great hospitals, how we want our children in great schools, how we want people to have jobs, how we want things to just work better. And it is within our capacity and abilities to actually create these different outcomes in the new normal. One person's human capacity, let's say, I decide that, I'm going to spend the rest of my life working on the bold new normal alone. Nothing is really going to tangibly be different unless everybody comes along and joins me in that journey and in realizing that vision, because it's going to take the capacity, the abilities, the knowledge, the know-how, the desire, the consistency of so many different people building out over time. And that's why it's important that we go on this journey together. In the book, The Bold New Normal, I talk about how we need to be ambassadors to each other about what we want differently to see in our country, in our communities. Being an ambassador is not just about talking about what is different, it's about acting and doing what is different. And that's why at this conference, you will hear from other people from different walks of life, from different sectors, who have chosen to create new normals. Change happens when we do the same thing, sometimes over and over again. And when we are able to do one thing really well, consistently, we build on it, and we build another block, and then we get better at that, and then we build another block. It's hard to innovate if you don't have laid down processes and structures that you follow day to day. If every day you're in the depths of how to even make little things work. So consistency matters. I've talked about laying down building blocks, and I'll add one more thing, and I'd love us to talk a lot more about this at the conference. It's hard to be consistent if you're not organized and orderly. It's a fundamental requirement, and it's not that difficult to be organized and orderly. It's as simple as having consistent routines. It's as simple as showing up at certain places at the right time every single day. Order, organization, structure, we just cannot build the norms that we want to see without orderliness. So I'm really looking forward to not just the discussions and the debates, but the fact that we're actually going to come up with solutions together at the conference, and also post the conference, we're going to follow through, because it's the action that leads to change, not just the talk. The talk sparks it, but the action is what actually creates the changes that we want to see. So I have quite a few expectations for the Bold New Normal conference, and it's really about outcomes, right? The conference is themed Taking Action, Creating Prosperity. Very simple message. We need to take the action to create the prosperity we seek. Now, let me be clear. Prosperity isn't about having millions and billions of cedis. Prosperity is about living a life where you can self-actualize, be the best of what you have to offer, realize your potential, not have to worry about the basic things like food, healthcare, having a job, your children. Prosperity means that everybody really has the room to be the best of themselves, and they're not living in survival mode. They're really thriving. How far you go with your prosperity then really becomes up to you in terms of what you want to invest. So that's a fundamental outcome. Now, what it means in practice is that thousands of us are going to come together, some of us in person, many of us virtually. We're going to come together. We're going to talk about what it really takes to consistently take action to prosper. We're going to talk about, hear from people who have done this and are doing it. We are going to share some of our challenges and have a conversation about what we're going to do about them. And we're also going to have a number of hackathons where we're going to hack ideas of how we create prosperity. Now, out of all of this, we're going to take ourselves from the conference into action mode of execution. So it's really about making the bold new normal happen, not just talking about it on the day. So outcome, impactful outcomes are what we're looking for together. This conference is going to be hugely successful, mainly because as soon as I put word out to say we're having a conference, my inbox has been inundated. inundated with people who want to partner, people who want to support us in various ways with their resources, and people who actually want to help us organize and make the conference a success on the day. Success beyond the day is about the fact that everyone who leaves is going to leave as an ambassador for the Bold New Normal. And what that means is that they're going to talk about the ideas, they're going to encourage others to come along on this journey so that we will create a ripple effect through our communities and our societies. And every single one involved will take action themselves. So that action can be something you do differently in your family to create something different. It could be something you do in your school, something you do in your workplace, in your church, within your sphere of influence, because we all have a sphere of influence where we operate day to day. Within that sphere of influence, each one of us will make a positive difference because we want to see different outcomes. So I encourage you and look forward to you participating in person, as many of you as possible, and some of you virtually. Thousands of us are coming together to create and think about our bold new normal together. And then we're going to take this away into our communities, and we're going to keep in touch consistently over time until we get to our next conference in future. So don't miss it. I look forward to seeing you, and I look forward to hearing from you, because together we will make it happen. Thank you.